WA. Oke, karena beliau sedang ada seminar mahasiswanya kalau nggak salah. Mungkin nanti menyusul ya.
Bu Mei sudah join, Bu.
Sudah oke. Morning Bu Mei. Oke, thank you. Baik, kita mulai saja Bu Mei ya. The participant, please, could you please open your camera? So we ask you for open the camera during the lecture, as well as you have no problem with your camera, yeah. Okay, but we really hope that you can open your camera during the lecture, and you also participate in this lecture. Uh, okay, we will start the lecture. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Honorable Dr. Melanie Buatenjok as a summer course chairman, and uh, Dr. Melanie Abdul Kadir Sunito as discuss discussion from the Faculty of Human Ecology at EPB University. Thank you for your coming, Ibu. And also we have Prof. Didik Wiyatmoko as a speaker from the National Research and Innovation Agency, or BRIN Indonesia. Thank you for your coming, Pak Prof. Didik Wiyatmoko. And also as well as our lovely summer course participant. Now we are in the ESL Summer Course lecturers. Welcome. I hope you will enjoy the course. My name is Meti Ekayani, and I will be moderating this lecture. Today, uh, we will delve into a fascinating topic, the trade-off between conservation and tourism, using the Bogor Botanical Garden as a case study. I think it is a very interesting and important topic because this trade-off usually occur due to the economic and ecological priorities. Before starting the lecture, we invited Dr. Melanie Butenjok to welcome. Uh, Please, Miss Melanie, Ibu Melanie, the screen is yours. Bu Melanie, halo Bu. Bu Mei, halo Bu Mei. Bu Mei, have you any problem? Did you speak up? Pak Arif, bisa bantu Bu Mei? Bu Melanie, halo. Bu Mei,
Audionya masalah kayaknya, Bu.
hah? Audionya masalah. Bu Mei, nggak bisa ya? Oh, Bu Mei di kampus bukan Pak Arif? Oke, I think, oke, oke. Okay, I think perhaps Bu Mei will have, aduh, okay. Okay, I think we may have a problem. with the audio. We will continue our lecture. Perhaps we will make the photo group, yeah. Yeah, okay. I think we will. Okay, thank you, Abdul, yeah, for your comment. So we will continue the uh, for the photo group. Please, everybody, open your camera, give the best smile for the photo group. Pak Arif, are you ready for the photo group?
Ya, ready. Slide one ya. Oke.
Okay.
Slide two. Next. Thank you. Udah, Bu.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Pak Arif. Uh, okay, participant now will continue the lecture. It is the before we conduct the lecture, we uh, enjoy the lecture from the Prof. Didik. Let me read the CV from Prof. Didik. Pak Arif, could you please? Okay. Okay, this is the CV of Prof. Didik. It's too small, perhaps, Kak Arif. Yeah, Prof. Didik is a research professor at the Research Center for Ecology and Entobiology National Research and Innovation Agency. We call it BRIN. He served as the director of the Bogor Botanic Garden from 2013 to 2019 as a director, also as director of the many botanical garden Indonesia. Uh, he also as the the Secretary General of the International Association of Botanical Garden Asia, and also in the as a national focal point and FP of the Global Strategy for Plant Conservation, GSPE CBD, and also one of the chairs of the Indonesian uh, Biology Association atau ini bahasa Perhimpunan Biologi Indonesia. Also, as a senior guest lecturer at IPB University, and he get the doctoral degree from the IPB University and the master degree for the University of Canterbury, New Zealand, and undergraduate from the Gajah Mada University. He took also the postdoctoral program in the treatment plant modeling at the University of Melbourne, Australia, and achieved the research professor from LIPI in the field of the conservation and environmental management in 2018. And he also author and in many scientific reputation publication. Oh, so many experience, and I think probably it is very related with the topic this lecture. Okay, this is the CV of the our speaker, Prof. Didik Widiatmoko. Thank you, Pak Arif. And now we will have the lecture from Prof. Didik Widiatmoko. You have about 45 until 60 minutes, Prof. Didik. So the screen is yours, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mehdi Kayani, for the nice introduction. And I like to say hello to Dr. Melanie Sunito, my friend, and best wishes from Dr. Irawati. Warm greetings from Dr. Irawati to you, Melanie. Yeah. Welcome back to Indonesia from Sydney, yeah, last night. Okay, dear colleagues, friends, and student maybe, yeah. I've been teaching for many years, not only in the IPB but in many other university as well. So it is this like my son and my daughters, something like that. Yeah. I'd like today to discuss about the topic and entitled trade-off between conservation and tourism. It is Bogor Botanic Garden, yes. Oh yeah, I'd like to say hello to my friend as well from the Sanata Dharma, Pak Tri Priantoro. That's my best one of my best friend as well. Hello, Pak Tri. Yeah, it is. Yeah, before I'm starting with the presentation, I'd like to mention that trade-off here, in the sense of that, it is not the something like the two conditions which are not synergistic but opposite and can eliminate each other. It's not in that sense because in a botanic garden like Bogor Botanic Garden, uh, between conservation and tourism are was it running together. But anyway, there are a lot of dynamics in the running of conservation and tourism function. So that is my point. Trade-off here is not that means eliminate one another. That's very important, I think. Yes, and the content is a lot, but I'd like to manage my time given by to Meti. So I'd like to start with introduction, the definition, the roles, the challenge and opportunities, and faced by Bogor Botanic Garden, and also biodiversity as modern primate tourism right now in the last decade, in the last 2 decades, I mean, and then followed by profile, history, and characteristic of Bogor Botanic Garden, then characteristic of Bogor Botanic Garden visitors, uh, followed by ecological contribution of this garden, then followed again by economic values from Bogor Botanic Garden. Then I will conclude this today presentation with two important sections, which are paradox or contradiction, if you like, and then where are you going to? Where are you going to, Bogor Botanic Garden, co-Venice? Okay, Ellen. Yeah, I'd like to start with the definition of botanic garden. I think, and I'm convinced that you are all is not is having a good understanding in in the botanic garden definition. I'd like to mention three definitions which are very important for this today discussion. The first is the globally, internationally definition constructed or made by the BGCI, Botanic Garden Conservation International, is the largest botanic garden association in the world, yeah, instead of IEABG that I was the Secretary General for ASEAN Division. So the first, I'd like to mention that a botanic gardens, don't be confused if I write there a botanic gardens, it's plural, something like plural, but with is. In this case, a botanic garden, because in English term, usually they use botanic gardens with s, something like plural. But actually, it is one. It's an entity or one entity. So don't be confused with this term, right? Botanic Gardens is an institution holding documented collection of living plants for the purposes of research, conservation, display, and education. This is used widely, globally, and internationally recognized terminology. So it is very important for us, for those who are working for Botanic Garden or working in Botanic Garden. This is in our international terminology, or and then this our understanding how how to run and manage a garden. And the other one is from Indonesia. It is because Bogor Botanic Garden is located in Indonesia, is one of the popular tourist destination and conservation ex-situ conservation area in Indonesia. So we have a definition as well for the botanic garden, which is a botanic garden is an ex-situ plant conservation area holding documented plant collection and is organized based on taxonomic, bioregional, thematic classification patterns, or a combination of these patterns for the purposes of conservation, research, education, tourism, and environmental services. This is stated in the presidential decree number 93 in the year 2011 in Article 1. Please note, my friends or attendants, that when we are talking about international definition, especially coming from BGCI, a botanic garden is an institution, while in Indonesia, we, in a more sense, is an ex-situ in an ex-situ plant conservation area. Yeah, you know all ex-situ, right? In situ and ex-situ, the difference. So, botanic garden is an ex-situ plant conservation area. It's not institution in the definition. So it is the difference between Indonesian terminology and the international definition. There have been 2 presidential decree on kebun raya or on botanic garden. With the next one is the presidential decree number, it is very recent, number 83 in the year 2023. And it is the same actually in my opinion, in my understanding, which is the purpose of a botanic garden is gone there in the presidential decree number 83, right? Just note it that for the purposes of conservation, research, education, tourism, and environment. This terminology. I don't know why this has happened. I've been not in charge of the running botanic garden for some years. So I myself questioning about this one. It is very important actually, because it is president decree. It is high regulation in Indonesia when regulation or decree of the president, the number one person in Indonesia. So that's the condition, the fact. It's the fact that in the recent presidential decree, which is the revision, presidential decree number 83 2023 is the revision of the previous presidential decree number 93 in 2011. Please note this one. It is because it is in Indonesian situation and condition where botanic gardens, especially National Botanic Garden, belongs to the government and now belongs to BRIN, previously LIPI. Okay. Yes. Traditionally, Bogor Botanic Gardens and almost all, and I can say all botanic garden in Indonesia with national and regional garden have at least or what is it? The main roles of botanic garden in Indonesia are 5, which are conservation, research, education, tourism, and environmental services. Environmental services is rarely mentioned in the international or globally definition of a botanic garden, but in Indonesia we realize this is very important because when a botanic garden when a botanic garden is established, then environmental services is becoming an important role as well, instead of the conservation, research, and education, and also tourism. Okay. Yes. I I will not too detail mentioning this role, but I can I can say the main points about the roles of botanic garden, especially in the conservation research, education, tourism, and environmental services. It can be seen in this diagram because traditionally and from time to time, botanic garden in Indonesia led by Bogor Botanic Gardens, because Bogor Botanic Garden is the oldest and supervising the other garden in Indonesia. So recovery, reintroduction, restoration is a is her important role for this garden. Although we realize that many gardens do not do this role, only not only, but not all botanic gardens running the function of recovery, reintroduction, or restoration of habitat ecosystem. But anyway, Bogor Botanic Garden has strong involved in this task actually. So the diagram mentioning that from the from the field that we collect uh, plant specimen, then we are making database of this of those plants coming from the wild, coming from the field, and then we are doing research using the specimens, and after researching the plant species, some maybe can be introduced to the back to the wild, and some can be introduced to the society. And Bogor Botanic Garden has long history of introducing useful plants in Indonesia. Started from long time ago, more than 2 centuries since the Dutch period. So you can see that Bogor Botanic Garden not only maintaining or running the function and the roles inside the garden as an ex situ conservation institution, if you like, but also we are doing the recovery, reintroduction program, and and, and which is the link between ex situ and ex situ conservation. And I'm convinced that you all know the term. Okay. Yes. This traditionally, from nearly 2 decades, we've been um, conducting these rules, um, especially for ex situ plant conservation aspects, including the living plant collection, seed conservation, plant exploration, plant reintroduction, and very important, threatened plant conservation. It is very strong for botanic gardens to run. Then plant breeding also, cultivation, and domestication in sense plateau. But it's not easy to say domestication, but when we are talking about domestication, then starting from early cultivation to the result of the domesticated plants, it is a wide topic to discuss actually. But anyway, Bogor Botanic Garden has a long history since the establishment from the Dutch in the plant adaptation and the purposes of the cultivating useful plants, and also the collection databasing. Yeah, but now condition is changing. LIPI becoming is transforming to brain together with all research institution in Indonesia, and we are now together in brain. There are dynamics. Changing. There are changing conditions, changing situation, which are some are not easy to handle. for Bogor Botanic Garden especially. Anyway, I will talk this later in detail. Yeah, talking about Bogor Botanic Gardens, there are two at least here, taxa, which are very famous and becoming flagship species of Indonesia. They are Rafflesia and Amorphophallus, the Titan arum. This very big and tall flower uh, growing in Cibodas Botanic Gardens on the right hand, while in the left is the Rafflesia Padma or Rafflesia horsfieldi, if you like, because they are synonym between Rafflesia Padma and Rafflesia horsfieldi. This become one of the spectacular achievement of Bogor Botanic Garden in growing such a difficult flower to grow, ex situ. So yeah, Rafflesia Padma is something like milestone for Bogor Botanic Garden in achieving ex situ conservation task. Okay, talking about Bogor Botanic Garden, we are talking about very old historical heritage trees from or since 206 years ago and something like that one. So you know this one, you know this species, I believe. They are pohon jodoh, if you like, the soulmate trees. It is not the same species, but it's very similar, like a cryptic species, morphologically similar but not genetically, because pohon jodoh on the right picture, it is from the Dipterocarpaceae, Surya leprosula in the left, and then Ficus albivilla from Moraceae, from the family Moraceae on the right, which is brighter. Yeah. So Moraceae and Dipterocarpaceae are very different family, not related at all in any way. In the left is the king tree, Humpasia excelsa. Yeah, it is talking about the Bogor. You you will talk about old heritage tree. Yeah. We coming to the challenge and opportunities in botanic garden tourism with in the case of our botanic garden. Yeah. In addition to conservation research and education tasks and roles, Bogor Botanic Garden also provide popular attraction, especially Bogor Botanic Garden. We are talking about more Botanic Garden, Bogor Botanic Garden as a case, right? So Botanic Garden provide popular attraction for both tourists and recreationists alike. It is not tourist. If you're talking tourist, it is different from the recreationists alike. Because anyway, it is about tourism in a botanic garden. And recreation is even the most important activity of many botanic garden. Yeah. So we realize that many botanic garden running tourism tasks is something like, it's not more important, but it's something like the focusing heavily on tourism rather than the mission on conservation and research. Yeah, botanic garden also become increasingly important components of urban green space in the urbanizing world. Botanic garden tourism has the potential, this is very important, the botanic garden tourism has the potential to generate revenue to support plant program and general maintenance, but also can help gardens educate and engage with the public. So tourism is not like it's not something like not bad thing in this case. Yeah. Tourism, if in even more in the ecotourism approach, it will be uh, worthwhile for the garden to run the maintenance and the and the coordination as well. Yeah, however, research has shown that visitor perception is focused more on the aesthetics facilities and services and not on the living plant collection, not on the conservation mission, not on the scientific display or educational content. We realize that. So in this topic, we are proposing that the tourism can between tourism and conservation, something like the if you are if we are not careful, then tourism can obstruct the running of the conservation mission. That is the point actually what I want to say. Okay. Yeah, increasing tourism to garden might lead to the degradation of penalization of the living plant collection. You know that, and I will show some picture of this kind of thing. And then delicate or good historic or rare specimen might be damaged or killed by visitors, by naughty visitors. Visitors might dislike areas of great scientific and conservation value like the forested area or uh, sorry, Wilderhoek in Kebun Raya Bogor, in Bogor Botanic Garden. If you are hearing Wilderhoek, it is a forested areas, which is we allocate this area for not the maintaining accessibly day per day, but it is deliberately uh, available for insects, for birds, for snakes, for other animals to grow uh, uh, and their home for for growing better. So it is very important the existence of a forested area in the botanic garden, and not many botanic garden have such a area like a forested area. But often such an area often misinterpreted as abandoned area. But it's not. It's not. It's very important for botanic garden. Although botanic garden is an ex situ conservation institution, but it has if you have a forested area in the garden, it would be useful, very useful for maintaining biodiversity. On the other hand, botanic garden don't take visitor needs into account. They risk losing public support and relevance. If too focusing on tourism, then there is a risk that your core mission, what is it? It's not gone, but it is to focusing heavily or excessively on tourism. It can obstruct the mission of conservation and also research mission as well. That's the point. Yes. Then I'd like to mention about that currently biodiversity is as modern primary tourism as a non-destructive use of resources. This is very good, and it is very important for botanic garden as well when biodiversity becoming modern primary tourism. So biodiversity is one of modern primary tourism attraction, and it is non-destructive use of resources. That's the strong one. That's the strong point of biodiversity as a modern primary tourism. Tourism grows rapidly in biodiversity conservation areas, necessitating careful planning and management to avoid negative impacts on biodiversity conservation. That is the underlying point. Opportunities and threats for biodiversity conservation continue to grow when the scale of the tourism expands, including in the botanic gardens, right? Yeah. However, there is a negative correlation between tourism development and biodiversity conservation. Many research mention this, especially when developments take place without careful concepts and guidelines in order to establish environmentally friendly tourism. That's the point. So by understanding the trade-off between tourism development and biodiversity conservation is essential. This is important for the sustainability of both sides. So once again, as I mentioned at the start of the presentation, between tourism and conservation, it will not eliminate each other. especially for a botanic garden case. Okay. Uh, Still biodiversity as modern primary tourism. So the recommendation for future tourism development direction may include strategic intervention between biodiversity conservation and tourism development, such as capitalizing on biodiversity asset, reducing the vulnerability of natural resources by active conservation, developing an information system to monitor potential environmental impacts, encouraging locals' attitude toward biodiversity conservation. That's these things that we can do, how to recommend future tourism development in conjunction with the conservation. Yeah, I'm coming to the profiles, history, and characteristic of Bogor Botanic Garden. Yeah. I'm convinced, and I believe that you know this information, but I'd like to uh, briefly mention about this garden characteristic. So Bogor Botanic Garden was established in 18, 1817. It's the oldest botanic garden in Southeast Asia, covering a total area 87 hectares, managing a total collection of flowering plants of nearly 40, sorry, 4,000 plant species, and is the largest park or green open space in Bogor City or Regency. The garden has long been a center for scientific research and has been the founding institution of a number of centers in Indonesia. So the Bogor Botanic Garden is actually the mother of scientific institution in Indonesia, like Herbarium, Museum Zoologicum Bogoriense, Biblioteca Bogoriense, and so and forth. I'll, I'll show you the next slide. Okay. This is the institutional development made by or conjunction of Bogor Botanic Gardens. A number of scientific research institutions are coming from Bogor Botanic Gardens. It used to be Lans, Bandendin to Witten Shore. So it is our history. Yeah, don't ever forget that Bogor Botanic Garden is the mother of scientific institution in Indonesia. It is a milestone. It is very strong. What is it? Achievement. It is something like a strong awareness when the society realize that the importance of scientific institution in a country is very important. And Bogor Botanic Garden has made this milestone. So a number of institutions established from this garden, as I mentioned before, yeah, museum, herbarium, three botanic garden, national botanic garden, including Cibodas, Purwodadi, and Bali Botanic Garden, and also the Ministry of Forestry and the Ministry of Agriculture. And even if you can see, if you can see the little note I made in the on the left corner bottom, ya, kebun percobaan Cikemah. It is the trial. It's a long time ago as well, but now it is something like that. What is it? The institution coming from Bogor Botanic Garden and now growing, enlarging, and becoming the current institution in Indonesia, including the Botanic Garden actually in Sibolangit in Sumatra in 1914. Yeah, and then once again, the Bogor Botanic Garden is establishing and has been enlarging, becoming a scientific institution in Indonesia, and all are coming from this 87-hectare gardens. That's the point. Yeah, some pictures, all pictures. You can see all of this. Biblioteca Bogoriensis, but now it's different. The building, the museum zoology as well, herbarium Bogoriense. And if you are student, if you are college student, then I believe in Bogor, you have been and maybe many visitation by you for conducting botanical or scientific study of botany, ecology, or biology. Okay, that's my point. And here is still, sorry, I will, in order to be clear and you can see all of the picture. The Trump laboratory, now I will talk a bit about this lab in later discussion, in later slides. Then Cibodas Botanic Garden, established in 1852. Yeah, um, we are coming on the very important history made by Bogor Botanic Gardens. Why Bogor Botanic Garden was established long time ago, in more than 2 centuries ago, and still exists right now. Although there has been some dynamics, challenging and not easy situation and condition to face by the garden, the staff as well. So I'll mention this milestone is very important. So again, I have to say, and please do not forget about the history of this memorable this old garden. So Bogor Botanic Garden is the mother of scientific institution in Indonesia. This the establishment of this garden is a milestone, historical moment for the importance of research institutionalization in Indonesia. So it is very important. Research institutionalization. This, it is important because no research institution before Bogor Botanic Garden was established. Okay, so there was emerging awareness at the time of the importance of institutionalizing research institution at the time among scientists and the Dutch government, as it was a necessity. It is an importance, for particularly in the Dutch government, to support the government economic interest because they are developing, they are planting the useful plants from the very early stage. Okay, and also the importance of developing science. Uh, it is the impact of the era of enlightenment. We call it scientific revolution in Europe, when Renaissance in France emerged, and then the effect is even to Indonesia as well as a colonization of the Dutch government. So that's the important story. Hopefully we never forget this one. So the garden at the time, from the early age, was used as an experimental garden, especially in the acclimatizing economically valuable plants. Many useful plants like vanilla, quinine, oil palm, ironwood, rubber, coffee, cocoa, and so on and so forth. There are so many. There are so many useful plants now exist in Indonesia. The first step in early research are coming from Bogor Botanic Garden. So the second is to develop the plantation crop, then to introduce the plantation crops, observe in Bogor Botanic Garden, doing research in Bogor Botanic Garden, and then distribute to other parts of Indonesia. The time is called the Dutch East Indies. So in the subsequent times, Bogor Botanic Garden was used as a means and research facilities for researchers and scientists, especially after 1880, after the Malaysia drop in charge, where the experimental botany is growing and the knowledge of the experimental botany and biology becoming better and better. So yeah, by understanding this story, then we realize that Bogor Botanic Garden is useful, historical, memorable, scientific institution, and and we have to manage this garden uh, in the future. Although there are challenge and not easy condition by the gardens in the recent time, especially. Yes, then I will skip this one actually because Bu Medi allocate 45 minutes and I have many slides. I have to skip this one. Yeah, and this is about the regulation. And actually very lucky for Bogor Botanic Garden to have the presidential degree, a higher regulation, a higher rank of regulation in Indonesia, to even to presidential degrees, yeah, in 2011 and recently last year. Although as I mentioned before at the start of the presentation, that the current residential decree is not mentioning about the purpose of botanic garden for research, conservation, and education, because it is very important mission actually, but it is gone. The definition in the articles in the definition, in the current definition. Yes, briefly, and when we are talking Indonesian National Botanic Garden, we are talking this for Botanic Garden instead of Cibinong Botanic Garden. It is still very new. I just mentioned this for National Botanic established for Botanic Gardens, the Cibodas, Bali, Bogor, and Purwodadi. And these are the characteristic. So from the high mountain, wet mountain tropic, then Bogor is a lowland, but it's also wet, having wet condition as well, while Purwodadi is lowland, but in a dry condition. So this is indicating that since long time ago, we specialize in conserving plant uh, based on the preference of their natural habitat in order plants to grow well in the garden, because botanic garden is a next to is artificial habitat, so we have to be very careful when we are collecting the plants coming from a certain habitats. Okay. Yes, this is Bogor. I think the colleagues, student from the overseas, I think is the informative how to locate the Bogor for the resident, for those who are living in Bogor it is Bogor Botanic Garden is a very popular place to visit actually. There's the condition and the location and the annual rainfall is very high. It's one of the, it's not the highest rainfall in Indonesia actually in Bogor. Uh, but Bogor indeed has average annual rainfall more than 40,200 millimeters per year. It's very high. You can see here, Bogor Botanic Garden is located in the center of the city, and uh, the surrounding is the buildings, and you can see the difference between the picture in the left and on the right, that from since early beginning of the centuries, it is still a lot of field, it's not natural vegetation, but it is the open green space in the left. But now Bogor Botanic Garden is surrounded heavily by buildings and concretes. This is the situation that we uh, we something like we are the forest in the city, and that's why Bogor Botanic Garden has to be very careful in maintaining the destiny in the future, because the pressure, the condition, the changing in the coming years, in the coming decade will uh, absolutely influence the existence of Bogor Botanic Gardens. That's the point I want to say about the right picture. You can see. So it is a forest in the city, just green spot in the in the in the forest of buildings, something like that. Okay, we are coming to the characteristic of Bogor Botanic Garden visitor. Uh, who are they or what are they? So about the gender, it is very significant that female female are having the percent is much higher than the the male, right? So female it is about the characteristics of visitors of the Bogor Botanic Garden. It is based on the survey made by Asahiro et al. 2023. It is still very recent. I choose this reference. It is good. It's a comprehensive reference, and I put this as one of the revision of the of my reference. So female visitors are much higher than male visitors. But you can see more than 70% of Bogor Botanic Garden visitors are female. What about place of residence? Yeah, the resident from the people from Bogor Regency are becoming the dominance of the visitors based on the place of residence. What about the education level? High school, it is in the year and high high school. This SMP and SMA becoming the more the dominant visitors in terms of education level. Uh, uh, while college student, okay, while college student is also higher number, and as you realize and you see that the many, for example, many university students coming from IBB coming to Bogor Botanic Garden to use the collection as a study matters, and they are using for various uses actually. That's good because IBB and Bogor Botanic Garden has a long history as well, close history, and has to be that the Bogor Botanic Garden becoming a one laboratory, one open laboratory for students like IBB as well. Yes, the income is in the moderate, low moderate income visitors. So yeah, this kind of thing. The characteristic of visitors coming to Bogor Botanic Gardens. It is good reference to mention. Yeah, it is the if approximately or roughly the Bogor Botanic Garden is visited by 1 million to nearly 300 300,000 people annually. I don't mention about the later the later during the pandemic is is dropped the number of the visitor, but generally or roughly you can see that if the condition is normal, it's becoming normal again after the pandemic, something like that one, the number of visitor of Bogor Botanic Garden more than 1 million, more than 1 million people. Yeah, what about we call it in the tourism aspect, we call it the visitor park use pattern. How the Bogor Botanic Garden Visitor Park use pattern. It is. What about the frequency of visit? So one time is most only one time, and that for based on the respondents, it is again from Asahiro et al. 2023, and visit length is about 1 to 3 hours, and then travel time from home to Bogor Botanic Garden is about 1 hour or 45 minutes, more than 45 minutes more. So indicating that Bogor Botanic Garden is easy to get, easy to reach because and the garden is located in the center of the city. So many people can come anytime without planning, even and doing sightseeing, enjoying the garden. And the purpose of visit is sightseeing, enjoying the view rather than studying the collection, studying, understanding the word of plant, something like that one. So this the you can see the profiles of Bogor Botanic Gardens visitors. Yeah. Okay. This one is yeah. This one is the gender, occupation, purpose of visit. What is it? The Bogor Botanic Garden visitor proportion is on the gender, occupation, and purpose of visit. So you can see that the gender again, as I mentioned before, that more male than male, more female than male. Sorry, and occupation, the college student, the college student and student is the the most dominant, and sightseeing, enjoying the view of the garden is becoming the purpose of the visitors. I put some information based on this reference at the bottom. There are 10 indicators of sustainable tourism for botanic gardens. You can see, you can uh, notice this one. And the number one, like the garden gains profit without destroying its resource. Then number two, the second indicator is enforcement regulate the garden environment successfully. And then the third is management and monitoring plans are effective, and so on, so on and so forth. I will not to detail mentioning all of the indicators, but it is good. How to assess that tourism is sustainable or not, especially when it is conducted in a botanic garden, like in the Bogor Botanic Garden, because this case is done and has been done or was done in the Bogor Botanic Garden by Henki and Kate Fitzer at the bottom. Uh, I didn't do myself this indicator. It is the reference. It is a good reference as well. It's in mid in 2018. It is still very recent as well. And this reference, I put a lot of revision here because it is about the scientific data. We cannot talk about I'm not basing on the data. So I do a lot of reference, and this one is, if you like, you can see a lot of difference there. And what about the sustainability of management and sustainability of tourism? Based on the 10 indicators I mentioned in before. So on the first one, that profitability without destroying natural resources is understood by most or by many, if you like, many of the respondents. It's because of based on respondents' analysis, yeah, based on the respondent analysis. So the profit type that profit is gained without destroying natural resources is the highest value, or you can see the highest number. Improving visitor satisfaction is next, and then controlling tourism impact of the botanic gardens becoming concern of the respondent or visitors, if you like. So you can see here that the preference of the respondent or visitors in seeing or in knowing the botanic garden, just like this one. And the next table is sustainability of tourism in botanic gardens. And the first indicator, utilizing the botanic gardens resource optimally. It is becoming the concern of the of the respondent of the visit or of the visitors. Botanic garden economic contribution is also important. Then respecting socio-cultural life of the city, respecting the local condition, and so on and so forth. Yeah, ecological contribution of Bogor Botanic Garden and Indonesian Botanic Garden, especially 4 and 5, together with the Cipinong, if you like. But this one is scientific data that Indonesian Botanic Garden is not Bogor Botanic Garden alone. Is Indonesian Botanic Garden are now together, including Cipinong, becoming five national botanic gardens. So it's around 25% of the Indonesian threatened plant species conserved in Botanic Garden. It is it's a significant role. It is a significant achievement, if you like, made by Indonesian Botanic Garden in preserving threatened plant, endangered plant. Carbon stock for all 5 botanic garden was it is high, 336,000 tons carbon, or this one equivalent to the vegetation cover of highland primary forest. It is made by my student as well, and now Pak Danang. It is graduated his PhD from IPB as well. Pak Danang.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes.
1 minute more. 1 minute
Wow.
less. 1 or 2
Production
minutes,
of oxygen.
perhaps.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I will skip many slides then. Maybe. Okay. There are 5 water spring in Botanic Garden. They are sustained. Then they are not dried even in the middle of the dry season. In the middle of the dry season, they are still producing water. It is very good, isn't it? It is a contribution of local Botanic Garden in maintaining water regulation. This, this one is a scientific calculation. I'm involving the total economic value of the Botanic Garden, but my time is running out, so I will skip this one and a lot of benefit, right? Including the public benefit coming from Bogor Botanic Garden in absorbing of greenhouse gases, in absorbing of air pollutant gases, and so on and so forth. There are so many uses. There are many so benefits come from Bogor Botanic Garden. So it's not about cost, right? Benefit and cost. I'm talking about the cost and benefit analysis. And I'm using this method actually, but my time is running. Please wait a bit, Mehdi. I will finish in a few minutes. Yeah, roughly around 40 to 50 billion it is needed by for Botanic Garden if the garden is want to perform better, to better in maintenance, not only the collection but also the automation in tourism and conservation and research, education, something like that. But the income, as I mentioned in the last few slides, is about 20 billion income per year. So it is something like, if you say roughly, something like the Bogor Botanic Garden is cost center assumption, but we have to do the not only conventional economic analysis, but also doing cost benefit analysis expanded to the total economic value, right? So I'm skip this one, and we are this one from the tourism, from the carbon dioxide sequestration, oxygen production, and so on and so forth. It's nearly 200 billion, nearly 200 milliards, right? And about the tourism economy benefits coming from travel expense, transportation, trading, and so on and so forth is about 136 billion. So the analysis is if the financial analysis expanded to be the economic analysis expanded to include all benefits and costs, then you can see in the writing benefit minus cost, as I mentioned before, 136 plus 190 billion minus 50 billion cost that Kebun Raya Bogor or Bogor Botanic Garden needed, and then we got that figure. So management of Bogor Botanic Garden is, if we include the cost and benefit analysis, then source of funding coming from income and subsidy, it will be much better rather than we are doing the traditional economic assessment, traditional financial accounting. Not that one. So all benefits coming from the Bogor Botanic Garden should be included. There's paradox, trade-off, contradiction. Yeah, we are conservation area, we are research area, but now because the management is changing, the becoming private sector coming, then something like this is not happen before, because we are research area, we are conservation area, so not any cigarette and anything coming from this kind of thing can be coming to the garden. It is while on the right side, on the right condition now, the right, I took it. I took this place. I took this picture last week. So lab 12 laboratory just like that one on the right on the right on the right picture. So it is contradiction. It is paradox or something that it is a trade-off. It's not trade-off because it is deliberately in the cigarette is coming now in the garden. It is something that it is strongly prohibited when my directorship, especially, and also my before my directorship that the any cigarette is not coming to the garden, will not coming, but now coming. What happened with the labeling? Like this one, it's not actually, it's not happen in my directorship. It is very important. Labeling, information, scientific documentation, scientific information should be valid, should be in good condition, in current condition, in well managed. What's happened now? Uh, Something like this happened in the garden now. It is very messy, it's dirty, and I'm ashamed. I myself ashamed with this condition. This one is plastic waste, negative impact of tourism. Yeah, we realize plastic can be a problem anywhere, but this something like this is not happen in my directorship. It's not happen. There's vandalism. Vandalism is also the negative impact of tourism. Is something like trade-off when we are too focusing on tourism rather than the core mission like research and conservation. That's my strong point. It's like the one not well maintained facilities infrastructure. It's not happen anything. It's not happen in my directorship like that one. It's not a standard, international standard that we have been establishing from time to time, from the one director to director. The Bogor Botanic Garden has to be in a good condition and clean condition and a good and well managed garden. Something like that one. Yes, dry ponds, something like that should not be happen for Bogor Botanic Garden. It's a shame. Something for me, it is a shame. Should not be happen to Bogor Botanic Garden. Is aquatic plants, even the facilities surrounding the ponds becoming like that one in the slide abandoned site or something like that one is 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 actually should not be happen to Bogor Botanic Gardens. Something like this one infrastructure. There have been a number and some infrastructure becoming like in the condition, and so that's the conclusion of my talk, my lecture, to Betty, to Melanie. So it is very important to manage the trade-off between conservation and tourism. If we are too heavy, excessively focusing on tourism, then you are forget your core mission, conservation, research, and education. So understanding and managing tourism double-edged potential is crucial. Yeah, both to support Botanic Garden core mission, which are conservation, research, and education, but there is the potential to obstruct this mission. So innovation and contribution that can help Botanic Garden managers steer towards positive form of garden tourism and avoid pitfalls are very important. That's my point. Yeah, I think that's the last slide to Mehdi. Yeah, the relationship between tourism and conservation can be constructed as development strategy actually. So it's not will not eliminate one another or each other. It will not obstruct each other or one another. So it can be a development strategy. Tourism can provide economic opportunities over direct benefit to biodiversity and empower the garden task to manage their own resources in a sustainable way. Globally, botanic garden orientation has tend to be divided into these three groups: is as a visitor attraction, as a conservation and research institution, and the third is the as a conservation and research institution, as well as a visitor attraction. So the question is, the one is, where are you going to Bogor Botanic Garden? I can't answer this one because I I don't have any power to influence Bogor Botanic Garden now, and I'm not focusing on my research, my own research. But the my question myself, and maybe you as well, where are you going to Bogor Botanic Garden, and how? And I wish best and better condition in the future. That's my of course my wish. Thank you for your passion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Didik. Very comprehensive and interesting information from your side about the botanical garden and also the trade-off to the tourism. So I think we will continue with the discussion from Dr. Melanie because we have limited time, Bu Melanie. Sorry. So I will ask you to discuss about the presentation from Prof. Didik, please.
Okay. Thank you Ibu Meti Ekayani, Prof. Didik Widiatmoko. Baru berjumpa lagi sekarang Pak, sudah lama sekali. It's great to meet you and to everyone in this Zoom meeting. Let me share my to continue. I think this you will find that this will be sort of continuations of what Pak Didi has mentioned. I will start with check whether I can move these things up. Okay, sorry, I have to. It's not moving. Okay, so I hope you all see my screen, and my name is Melanie Abdul Kadir Sunito, and I'm a lecturer at the also at lecture at Bogor Agriculture University at the in the Faculty of Human Ecology. I'm also founder, co-founder, and fellows at the Samdana Institute. This is an NGO working in community-based natural resource management, and I'm also part of a group of different people from all walks of life from Bogor that name itself as Bogor 100. It's not because we are 100%, but because we are thinking that if we are trying to help contribute in the process and also criticize the development of the city of Bogor, and thinking about what will the city of Bogor looks like in 100 years of time. And what we see is always that the city of Bogor, its center is the gardens, botanical garden. So whatever development, whatever progress or regress that we do for the city should think about what happened with the gardens. Some of you, I'm a storyteller, and some of you may, well, if you visit Bogor, let's have walk together, and I will tell you more. But let me start with the beginning. I'm falling in love with the garden when I came to Bogor in 1981 when I started studying at Bogor Agriculture University, and my father took me there because he's a amateur biologist lovers, and it just etched in my mind. And at that time, because the campus is just right in front of the Bogor Botanical Garden, it's a place to visit many times. And then later on, I took my kids. Now they're all grown up. There, I do yoga many times every Sunday now, and so Bogor has, but the botanical garden has become practically part of our life as a family, our life as a community, and it is a place to learn, to play, to you could do sport, you could do jogging around, you could help some cleanups with. This is a picture of my daughter, and she loves the tree on left side top. She always it's a climber. It is climbing vines, but a very cute, according to her, fruits. And then just looking at the flowers, do some cleanups, or check into different season that check into different season where the kapok tree will the Javan cotton will fruits and then start what we call the snow of Bogor. This will happen, by the way, in another 1 or 2 months from now, and so it's practically a place where you find a place, a green space, urban green space, as Pak Didik Widiatmoko mentioned. But if you look into this, I'm sorry that some of the wordings I still put in Bahasa, but you look into the city and the development of the city, where the open space, the green space area has become less and less, and getting into the not in the city center anymore, because there are more developed buildings area, the red one. And where is the garden? The garden is right in the center of the city, and it's almost like choked by the whole development of the city. It's almost like your heart is being covered with lots of fats because you're getting bigger. But at the same time, when you look into the garden in itself, that tiny bits in the center of the city is 87 hectares. 87 hectares of this green oasis. So what do you do with that? It has about, Prof. Widiatmoko has already mentioned about the threats, the lots of threats that happens with the gardens. Lots of them comes from externals, like the hydrology cycle, the air pollutions, the noise pollutions because of the traffic, the high impact of commercial activities, the decrease of the water, groundwater qualities, the contaminated water that runs through the gardens, etc. Plus, all of the visitors are also part of the threats of the problems also with the gardens, because there are huge. In 2018 there are this is the notes that in 2018 there are over 1.2 million of visitors, but in June alone, because this is the holiday like this month, last month and this month, it has more than 200 visitors. And after the pandemic, there are more and more, as I observed, there are more and more visitors still. And not just that, not just the visitors, but also their vehicles that goes into the garden and park, all these things. But the botanical gardens, you look into the center, I could later on give it to you about this very, what do you call it? Prof. Didik mentioned it as an institution, because it is a 207 years old gardens that in the past was one of its role was to bring all the high commodities, high economic commodities that now you know, like oil palm, rubber, sugarcane, the Arabica coffee, cinchona, the quinine, etc. And then it starts creating all the scientific research institutions. So it is an institution in itself that creates a research institutions, a very important one. And if you look into the plant species, it's almost like you see the world plant collections of tropical, but also temperate area that goes into there. So this is a very you look into a very very historical, but at the same time area that is also still important up to date. I will go more into what happened during and after the pandemics, where I think, or we think, some of us, we have lots of friends that discuss, and the burden of creating income makes the organizer, the administrator of the garden start creating alternative incomes activities to get more income inside. And one of them is what the visitors come to the garden at night, what is called a glow. And then there was an area within the garden that will be put lights and everything to entertain. But this is actually detrimental, very disruptive to the garden in itself. And when I start writing about it with it and lots of friends, we initiate what is called change.org, petition in change.org to stop the commercializations of the garden using the night tourism. And then after many difficult months and discussions, then yeah, sorry.
What the time? Sorry.
Okay. And then we finally made it stop, but I don't think it's ended there. And along the time, when you mention about the commercializations, but Widiatmoko has already mentioned about like all these changes that are actually not good for the gardens, like how they cemented the stones area, the pavement area in the oldest French architecture part of the garden called Taman. And then all these banners that is put so that people can do selfie, because in tourism, selfie to show where you are is very important. Also buildings, but did mention about that it's not well kept, but I think in itself all these buildings are taking people's taking people's interest from the plants into all this and make the garden into just a park, not a botanical garden, but a park. And there is a huge difference in it that Pak Didi has already mentioned. And this is the aquatic plants where you put lamps and light it up at night. And of course, it will disrupt the frogs that's going to mate all those insects and everything. Additional lamps and everything. I will just, and then they put lights through the plants that I think is disruptive for the cycle, photosynthesis cycle of the plant. And this ecodome that is now look very bad, the traveling ecodome. And also additional things that's been put in there that again makes the botanical garden into just park, any city park. And that's not acceptable because there are many parks within outside botanical gardens. And when you do this with the botanical gardens, it takes away the attention of people to other things. Plus the thought that you have to be entertained when you are inside the garden. While actually what you should do is just taking a deep breath and rest and be peaceful there and learn about the plants and be present with the plants and not being being entertained more and more, because there are so many entertainment outside. So I think one of the roots is, I forget to translate it, but I think one of the roots is the separation of administration separation between the functions. The conservation research roles are being separated from the education tourism roles. And meanwhile, the environmental services roles are just lost there. And there is no discussion that when you talk about a place that has to be able to, what do you call it? It's not a cost center. It has to maintain by itself. A botanical garden, we practically forget about the intangible values, the values that makes
I'm
the
sorry,
whole.
Bu Melanie, because
One minute more. Yeah,
okay,
1 minute.
because the participant will have
Yeah.
another
I know.
course.
I know.
Yeah.
This is the main part that I'm going to say. The intangible values of the garden that makes the city, the people healthy and not getting sick because of the fresh air and everything. So I will skip on that, and some of the comments that I make all the way with the changes of the commercializations. But if Prof. Didik Widiatmoko say that, is there anything that we could do? Yes, there's something that we could do. And I start with a small counter activities that I called it a meaningful walk at the garden, jalan bermakna di kebun raya. And this is to take a small groups to getting to know the garden without trying to zooming around the garden, but getting to know the small part of the gardens. And with that, learn about the plants, learn about this Somitra macrocarpa, this very beautiful, amazing seeds, or the rattan or whatever. So you could do something. And with that, I think if people say that, is there conservation versus commercializations? People say that people mostly think that we are against commercialization of the garden. No, we are not, because commercialization at some level is good and needed, but at the same time, you have to think differently about the garden. That you don't go there to be entertained. You don't go there to just zoom around. You go there to take a breath, because this is a place where the ecological crisis is already huge and the climate change is already so much into us. We have a small place, an oasis at the center of the Bogor, and that is well deserved to be preserved as is, if possible. That is my thoughts. I will share the screen later on.
Yeah, thank you,
Dr.
Dr. Mani. Very nice. What is presentation, yeah, and we do hope that you can share your presentation and we can share to the participant. Okay, we have only limited time now, so there are some questions. Prof. Didik, have you already read in the chat box?
Yeah, hang on.
Okay, there. So we can. There are some questions. Sorry. The first one is about.
Yeah, I can read it.
Okay. You can read it. Okay.
Yeah,
There are,
I
I
can
think,
read it.
two questions. Yeah. The first one is ask about the research, the impact of tourism to the botanical garden. But you and Ibu Dr. Melanie already explained about it. And the second is about the Kompasia, yeah. And Bu Melanie already answered about the question. And the last is two question, yeah. What is the role of the Bogor Botanic Garden in realizing the four pillar of food security, availability, accessibility, stability, and utilization, introducing the problem of the stunting for people living around the botanical garden? And the second is about the research management at the Bogor Botanical Garden. Is very good compared to the other botanical garden in Indonesia. What are the main strategic management principle? And I don't know, are there any question in the... So, and the last one is what you, Mr. Didik and Mrs. Melanie, Thanks. I don't have question, but I just want to say very grateful to the Bogor people. Okay. I think that's two questions from Didik.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
And you can also respond what Ibu Dr. Melanie
Okay,
said.
Pak
Okay.
Didik, monggo.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks from Afghanistan, yeah. Abdul Sabur, yeah. It's good to see you, Abdul. Yes. Two questions. The first one is, what is the role of Bogor Botanic Garden in realizing the four pillars of food security, availability, accessibility, stability, and utilization, and reducing the problem of stunting? Yes, that's it's in this context. Actually, the Botanic Garden, and especially Bogor Botanic Garden, we have a very strong, actually, from time to time to the utilization of species, of plant species, including domestication, cultivation, and have I've already put some example of many useful plants, and now coming to the market, coming to the area throughout Indonesia. Just like what we are eating daily in Indonesia. It's a lot of these useful plants coming from Bogor. The question is, where we plant in a large number, in a large area, it should be careful, right? In a environmentally friendly consideration. If you, let's say, talk about the Elis guinensis, oil palm, right? It is firstly come to Bogor from the Africa, from not directly from the Africa, but the Elis guinensis from the tropical Africa. It's a kind of how Bogor Botanic Garden can realize that a wild plants can be then finally from time to time we are doing research, we are doing observation, lot of things and many maybe trial and errors, but using this kind of example of oil palm, then we can realize the pillars of food security, Abdul. So that's and not only the oil palm, right? Yeah, cinnamomum and as another example of good material coming from botanic garden. So that's kind. Go from the wild status, then we are doing research, then we are from time to time doing the relevant research, then we are coming to the what we are wanting to see, that the useful domesticated oil palm is coming on the table, something like that, something like that one, Abdul. And the second one, research management at the Bogor Botanic Garden is very good compared to other. What are the strategic management principles? Yeah, actually in some cases I've mentioning this one, this principle as well. So strategic management principle, yeah, you can see that Bogor Botanic Garden has a very strong in research and conservation and education, right? So and then I will relate to the Dr. Melanie very good presentation, and that's the strategic management. That is the strategic management. We are not we are not going to heavily commercialize or anything about this, about the resource of the garden. Yes, commercialization is not bad thing, but you have to say, but you have to understand that the garden is not mass tourism area, right? Not a mass tourism area. Bogor Botanic Garden has a strong pillar on three function: research, conservation, and education. And from these pillars, if you are doing well, then you get benefit from tourism, from environmental services given by the trees, oxygen, water, air, clean air, and things like that one. So the strategic management should be coming from these three important core mission of the garden to be developed, not going to the commercializing the tourism, something like mass tourism, the park, the everything that the Dr. Melanie presenting, the what is it, the something like what's it, mass tourism, something like, I can say, polluted, polluting the gardens, polluting the gardens. That is not my, that's, sorry, that is not our strategy, actually. Yeah. I'm now, I'm now discussing in terms of a scientist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not in charge in running Bogor Botanic Garden anymore. But my feeling, my spirit is still is not changing. Bogor Botanic Garden has been developing and experiencing dynamics, a lot of things over 2 centuries, right? So this management strategy should, as I mentioned before, as I mentioned before, and relating to the Dr. Melanie mentioned that the strategic management principle has to become from the three pillars, actually, how to run and how to manage research, conservation, and education. I think it is my answer, to Meti. And one thing, yes, something like what do you call it, Alan? Yeah, artificial light at night. It is really something like that silly thing. That silly thing. Many people think that they are not, Alan is not influencing on plants. There's very silly things. Alan is very influencing, is very distracting to insect, to pollinators. Pollinators are very important component for plants. They are not, they will not live sustainably without pollinators. And when you are doing, Alan, with massive in the massive scale, then there are so many insects, especially pollinators, are trapped, then they are dying, and they are obstructed their daily and their biological rhythm, and obstructing their life, actually destroying the pollinators, destroying the insect. As as an, an example, not only insect, but also many mammals, squirrels, pollinator birds, and many others. So this is very important. So that's why I'm I'm thanking for Dr. Melanie presenting the lot of things that we have been discussing during the last few years, that we we don't imagine before. We didn't imagine that we are experiencing this kind of thing in Bogor Botanic Garden. Even the Bogor Botanic Garden is now doesn't have any legal standing. It is very assumed. It is very, to me it is indeed the darkness, the darkness of our period for Bogor Botanic Garden. And I've been mentioning that Bogor Botanic Garden emerging. Bogor Botanic Garden is coming from the darkness, when the Renaissance, when the darkness period coming in Europe, then influencing in the Dutch colonial area and country like Indonesia, and we are now entering to the dark period again. That's something that I have to say. And I'm very happy to have friends like Bu Melani, really. And we've been discussing, debating a lot of things, and even in my internal brain, that something like this is really. But yeah, we have
Prof.
to be smile. Ya, terima
Oke,
kasih
Prof.
Bu,
Sorry.
Bu
Ya,
Betty itu. Ya,
thank
thanks
you
a lot.
very much, Prof. Terima kasih untuk ulasannya. Oke, thank you for the answer. Very comprehensive and very powerful, ya. And now, please, Bu Melanie, Prof, you can have some comment, but please only short comment uh, to close this session. Please, Bu.
Also as a closing, yeah. I guess in the past, the botanical garden has roles in bringing lots of what is now becoming a very important economic commodities. And it's a place of the acclimatizations before it was being planted and produced sugarcane, coffee, oil palm, quinine, etc. And then from there, it breeds lots of research center, including research center on food. Now, this role has already passed because the other research center has taken up that roles already. Now, what we have to think is, what are the botanical garden roles in this modern 21st century, in this modern world? And I think it should be thinking about this climate change, this whole climate chaos. And we have a very peaceful oasis, ecologically very good in the center of the city. If we cannot improve it, let's not merusak tuh, let's not disturb it. Let's not trying to make it worse. If you cannot improve it, let's keep it as is. And that is by thinking about a more educative way of visitors getting into the gardens. What I remember at Aikins, one of the botanical gardens, the International Botanical Garden, say that let's change the visitors into supporters. What is the meaning of supporters? The supporters means you getting to know the garden first. You getting to know all these beautiful collections from all over the world and why it's there, what it's used, all the oxygen that they brings and everything, all the peacefulness that they bring. And if you're getting to know that, you become the supporter of the gardens. The supporters of the gardens may also be contribute some money, possibly financially, but also with the support of looking in the garden. And I think that is what the shifting of roles that has to be thought about. And mind you, some of you may come to Indonesia as part of these workshops. And next Tuesday, I think some of you will walk with me at the gardens. Let's feel the ambience, the situations, the conditions there, and see for yourself. But I think you will be amazed by how it's serene, how it's peaceful, but at the same time, all these commercializations, yeah, it's just it pains me. Sorry to say, it pains me, it hurts me. I've been in Bogor for, my goodness, it's 2/3 of my life. I'm 40 years, over 40 years, and the changes that I observe for the garden, that is so painful to see, because that is not what's supposed to be. It's 2007 years old, beautiful garden at the city center. That's what I thought. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Melanie and also Prof. Didik. I think we have to close this session. It is very interesting material, information, and also discussion. And we come up with so we have to find the win-win solution, right, Prof. Didik and Bu Melanie, between the tourism and botanical garden. So we have not destructive use of the resources. Perhaps we can have the education from the tourism in botanical garden, not only for the entertain, ya, Bu Melanie, ya. So as we know, perhaps the tourism could be as the additional value for the botanical garden to support the what is the main task of the botanical garden as conservation and research and also education. I think that's all for me, and we do hope all of the participants enjoy the lesson and can enrich your knowledge about the conservation and also the tourism. So many information and experience from Prof. Didik and Dr. Melanie. Thank you very much, Bapak and Ibu.
A pleasure.
Perhaps I will join also jalan bermakna ya Bu Melani.
Lovely. Anytime.
Okay, so I will close this session because Dr. Melanie, as a chairman, still have a problem with the device. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to fill in the what is the attendance online, yeah, and see you later. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.